God, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Senator Simon, would you like to start us off with introductions and the staff?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. It's good to be back over here in Taylor County. Always fun to come over here. I've got to see if we can get out of here in time to make it to the bakery around the corner. But it is truly a pleasure to be with you. I want to introduce my staff to you. Peter Lesraga. Peter just came, he was with Brett McClure before coming over and joining me, and so I'm happy to have him. And then Stephen Huddleston, other legislative aides. So you'll get a chance to meet them quite a bit over the next several years. But really excited to have them. A little bit, the committees that I serve. I serve as the chair of pre-K through 12 education. I sit on post-secondary education, appropriations for education, health and human services, appropriations, fiscal policy, regulated industries, rules committee, ag committee, and then finally joint committee on legislative auditing. So quite a full schedule, but looking forward to it, and of course, always looking forward to representing the good folks here in Taylor County. So happy to be here this morning.
Thank you, Senator. I tell you, they really, it's a blessing. But both in the House and the Senate have put a full load on Senator and I, and they know we both represent a lot of counties and have a diverse interest across the Panhandle, and so that is an awful lot of committees, more than normal, I'd say. So my staff, we have Landry Driver, our first in line here, and he's I'll call him somewhat of a local. He's a Lafayette County boy, but close enough, and has done a great job helping with constituent services. Of course, we have a district office here. We're opening a new one in Live Oak, so we're gonna. The senator and I are sharing an office in Live Oak, so we'll look forward to anything you need. Come see us. And we've got Amber Norris. Amber is from Gulf County, and thank you for driving over today. Again, just doing an amazing job for me. And some of y'all that have followed us know that Preston Wilson was with us every year, and Preston's gone on to law school now, and I think we've upgraded. So I tell him that because he went to LSU instead of Florida State. Leanne Bunton has just done an amazing job, and so those of you that are in elected office and the public, if you have issues with legislative issues, Leanne is your person. Constituent issues, these other two fine folks will help you with that. So this year I was asked by the speaker to chair the Higher Ed Appropriations Committee. So that's been a real joy to begin to learn and dive into. And I serve on the full Appropriations Committee as well. Infrastructure Strategies, Rules Committee, Hurricane Resiliency and Recovery, which is critically important to our area. We all dodged a bullet here recently, and this committee is taking an awful lot of time and a deep dive on ways that we can harden our facilities and better prepare our rural communities and really all of Florida for the next time a big one comes, because it is going to happen one day. There's nothing we can do to move those hurricanes left or right. It's just a matter of time. So it's incumbent upon all of us to do everything we can now to prepare. Also serve on post-secondary education and workforce subcommittee, reg reform and economic development. So as I said a minute ago, we really have been tasked by both chambers to take on a big role, and I know the senator and I both our passion is career and tech training. So that's another thing that we're fortunate enough to be able in our committees to really take that on. So this year's legislative session will begin on March 7th. We are already up there though in committee weeks. We've been going at it now for I guess 3 or 4 weeks in Tallahassee. So, but the full session starts March 7th. Anyone that wants to address the delegation today, we'd ask you to fill out an appearance card. Please get that in. If you don't and you want to speak, we'd ask that you fill it out after you finish speaking. Appropriation request forms are due 3 days ago, but we will take them if you have them. We just need to get them in as quick as possible so that Leanne does not get any gray hair. Let's see. And that's it for, I think you've heard me talk enough. Now we're ready for public testimony. We'll start off with our elected officials. Mr. Jamie English, would you like to come up and kick us off?
Thank you. Director Sheriff and Senator Simon, we appreciate all your support for our county. Senator Simon, we can get you out of the factory a lot sooner than later if you got a blank check. I just call out a number and we'll fill it out.
It's coming time.
No, we appreciate you guys and all you and your staff do for our community in past years and what you will do for us going forward. So we've got just a few requests. Taylor County Sports Complex, we've had this on our delegation in prior years for $400,000. We've taken the steps, on our own, we've taken the steps to make this complex a multi-use complex in order to hold tournaments, softball and baseball tournaments. We've actually got our first tournament coming this month, or coming February, end of February. And this would allow us to add another softball field in order to make this even bigger than what it could potentially be. So we would appreciate any consideration that you have for this complex use. Next, we've got Hatchie Fire Rescue. This location, they're under a lot of strain with flood. When it rains down there, those EMS services, they're wading in water in the fire station. They're having to move ambulances down the road, move equipment down the road because there's water flowing through the station. So I really would appreciate any help that you guys can do there. Same with Shady Grove Fire Rescue. Another $2 million there that we don't have an actual a volunteer location now, but we would like to turn that into a regular station at some point down the line. So we do appreciate any consideration that you all can do with this request. And lastly, we had one of our deputies, Deputy Michael Scott Williams. He served Taylor County and citizens of Taylor County for 17 months. After previously served the Brooksville Police Department, Deputy Williams served with honor until, while on duty, he was tragically killed in a vehicle crash near the intersection of 19. And we would just like to, name this road, make this portion of this road after Mr. Scott, Michael Scott Williams, and that would be along Highway 19 from Beach Road to 30. So
The county voted on that.
we have, and I think
I sent a resolution.
We did send a resolution already sent in for this, so we really appreciate it if we could work on this.
Got it.
That's all I have from us. We appreciate it and just thank you for all you do.
Do you have any?
What was the number on the steam hatchet?
Just $2 million.
Just $2 million.
Like check, not coming around here. We had the request of $400,000 on the sport complex. We had $2 million on the steam hatchet fire and $2 million on the Shady Grove.
We'll work with Luana. I gotta give her props too. I can't politically say that I have a favorite county administrator with 11 counties I represent, but I do, and it's Luana. She's such an amazing person to work with and really does a heck of a job for y'all. After hours, weekends, nights, whenever there's something wrong, she's on the phone, and she's such a pleasure to work with. You can't help but go out of your way to want to do even more for her, so she's doing a great job for y'all. All right. Anyone else from the county commission that would like to speak? Ms. Pam? Absolutely.
Is it okay if I sit here? Okay. I just want to thank y'all so much for being here, and I appreciate your presence. Every time you come here, it's important for us to see y'all and be able to speak to you. Basically, I just want to reiterate what our chair has said. I have read in the paper where some of the other counties are asking for over $30 million in appropriations this year. We're asking just for a little under, we're asking for less than 10 million. And the projects that he described to y'all are very, very necessary for our community. Sports is a big thing here, and you know yourself, if you have your children involved in sports, they grow up to be good adults, and it keeps them out of trouble a lot of time. Not 100%, but so, and then as far as the Steinhatchee fire station, we don't need our firefighters down there wading in water. They deserve better than that. And so we really need that. And then up in Shady Grove, and as you were coming to Perry, you passed through Riverview, you know how far that is from Perry. And then Shady Grove is a few miles to the east of it. And they only have a volunteer fire station there. And they basically have 3 volunteers, and they're aging out. They're in their 60s, a couple of them. And you just can't expect them to keep doing that forever. And so we are starting a new recruiting program, and we're going to try to revitalize our volunteer fire department. But in the meantime, we feel like it's absolutely necessary that we have a permanent fire station in that community. That community is growing. They're a good ways from town, and they need the protection. And, there are, just say for instance, if a manufactured home catches on fire, I understand it's gone within 6 or 7 minutes. And so it's just vital that please help us get these fire stations in our sports complex. And if there's any way that we can help you all, just let us know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Senator, any words on sports?
I concur with what you're saying. Sports has kept me out of a lot of trouble. No question about that. So I'm with you.
Well, what Senator won't tell you, because he's humble, is that he's run a program called Pop Warner out of the Tallahassee region that has hundreds, thousands.
No, last year we had 650 kids in our program. It's our youth football, cheer, and dance program. And I've been running it for the last 12 years. And so I definitely understand. It's how we keep we start at age 5 and we go through 12. And it has been, it's been a blessing for me. Last year, I no longer coach. I still run the program. But I got a chance to see the last kid that I coached graduate last year. And so I've gone to every graduation of the kids that have played for me over the years. And so that mentorship piece, it's more than just the sport. It's more than the character development. It's the mentorship piece of it. So as hard as I possibly can for you.
It's a great partner.
I think so too.
Tickled. Okay. Any other county commissioners? All right, moving along, we're going to go to constitutional officers. Sheriff or representative in the Sheriff's Department? Sheriff already called me and gave me a full list, so he is out doing his thing today, but we know what Sheriff Pageant needs. Clerk of Court, Mr. Knowles?
Here.
Yes, sir. Hey.
I just wanted to thank you guys for the appropriation I gave us for the courthouse this current year. It's going to be a big help in helping fix our elevators and get those up to code, and we really appreciate that. And Jamie already mentioned our legislative appropriations for this year. So just consider those. And also the clerks will be filing some bills, statewide bills, and just pay attention to those, and any support you can give us for those, we would appreciate that. And thank you guys for being here.
Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it.
And I recognize sports too, because I'm also the head coach for the varsity softball team here, so we're trying to do what we can for our young ones to keep them on the straight and narrow.
Very good. Thank you for that. Tax collector, Mark. Is Mark in?
Yeah, I'm just going to say thanks for being here. You'll see legislation from us. Just call me if you have any questions, because I'll be reaching out to you with some answers.
Sir.
Thank y'all for being here. We appreciate it very much.
Mark. And I see Sean in the back. Sean?
Yes, sir, sure thing. First, thank y'all so much for being here. We sure appreciate it. Just as Gary said, thank you for the appropriations for the courthouse. Not all property appraisers' offices are in the courthouse, but we still are, and so we sure appreciate that help that we received. Just want to thank you, Jason, for helping me with legislation with those small farmers here in Taylor County. It was a holiday, and I called Jason, and he answered, and And sure enough, any support you gave for that, on that tax package was super helpful, so thank you. And Corey for already reaching out to, get education on property tax, situations here in the state. It's a lot of, it's very detailed and it's very in-depth, and I'm always here for y'all if you have any questions or need anything, and I appreciate y'all so much for all y'all do.
Sean, thank you. And when you called, it was an issue that was not on my radar. And so if you wouldn't have called, it wouldn't, wouldn't have risen to the top of become a priority. So thank you for keeping me in the loop, and please continue to do that.
Will do. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Sean.
Ms. Sutherland, I didn't see Dana. No? All right. She's making sure our elections are secure. Alicia Bashirs. Oh, she's teaching. Okay. City, we've got, Ms.
Excuse me
Shirley?
one moment, Jennifer.
Yes.
Alicia's not here, but we do have several board members here.
Oh, okay.
Signed up to speak.
Okay.
We're-
Okay. Okay, I was just making sure.
All right, we've got, going to the mayor, is Ms. Shirley here?
Yes.
Yep, Ms. Shirley, hey, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
I'm glad to be, let me introduce myself. My name is Shirley Hampton. I'm the new kid on the block as far as being the mayor. I had no intentions of coming before you today, but the voice said, you have not because you asked not. We have, I think it's about 14 parks in the city of Perry, and they are in need of repairs. One park, first let me say this, I know that the children are near and dear to your hearts, right? Okay. The one park, they need a shade topper. We have new equipment, kids can't play on it because it's too hot in the summertime. One park needs some paving. It's riddled with potholes. We have a basketball down that is made out of asphalt. We need a new one. We need water fountains. We need we need exercise equipment. Never had it. And the community is asking for it. It's a whole lot of things that we need. And I'm thinking 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 to take care of everything. Please take this under your consideration. And congratulations on your win.
Ms. Mayor?
Yes.
We can, Landry and Amber, would you please get with the mayor afterwards, and let's get that form filled out for her, and that way we can get it turned in time.
So
And
much.
likewise with my staff, but there's different processes with the House and Senate.
Get with you after the meeting.
Thank you for that, Ms. Mayor. All right. Any city commissioners that would like to speak? Yes, sir, come on down.
Bill Bryans, member of the city council. A few years ago, the city got involved in trying to do a revitalization of the downtown area. And part of that process was to obtain ownership of Jefferson Street, a portion of Jefferson Street. Well, never had the money to complete the project. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to surprise you. I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for help with a signature and a phone call from Department of Transportation. The city wants to give back that portion of Jefferson back to the state of Florida. According to the city manager, he has called numerous times, never had a return phone call. In September, we sent this letter, and we have never heard from them to this day. We just need some help to get somebody from DOT to contact us and let us know what the process is going to be to give that portion of Jefferson back to the states.
We can help you with that.
And giving you his letter and his staff letter. We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I know you're hiding back there. Did you want to say anything? Airport, everything good?
Everything's good. Just want to thank y'all for coming down and appreciate everything you do for us.
Appreciate you, Ward. Ward's another one that calls regularly when something's wrong or somebody needs something. He's a quiet guy, but he does a whole lot in the background to help. I appreciate him. All right, now, school board members, whenever you're ready, come on down.
You go.
Mine's easy. First of all, I'm Brenda Carlton. I want to thank y'all for coming today and listening to us. The only thing I just want to mention is, one thing that's always near and dear to my heart is just transportation with our kids. We follow them up and down the road. We on all these dirt roads. We beat and bang those buses up. And, of course, you know, as always, that was not fully funded, but just always keep that in your mind. And the only other thing I was going to mention, Jody Tillman from BPTC did give you a folder, and she's always wanting us to remember that they are not funded at 100%. So she gave you the information to look at that. But other than that, thank y'all, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did you have another folder? Did you get it?
Yeah, I've got it over there. We will make a copy.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. And I'm not going to say much because I know Bonnie has listed things. But first of all, I want to thank you guys for being here this morning. My name is Deidre Vandell. I'm a school board member. And Jason, I really want to thank you for all you have been doing for Taylor County. You keep us high in your priority, and I want to thank you for everything you've done for us, our technical school, for us, our local commission, for us, our city, for us, the jail, and a list of things I know you have been doing. So I want to thank you for that. And I want to welcome you, Senator, how you say it? Simon, to the service of Taylor County. We thank you first and all for stepping forward and, you know, showing, you know, a desire and an interest to serve this, you know, North Florida area and our community. So we want to make sure that we greet you with very well, you know, exhortation, so you can make sure you put us high on your priority, okay? And I want to stand in support of everybody here that has spoken so far and that's yet to spoke, because I'm not only an elected official here, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a resident here, and most of all, important of all, I'm a citizen in this community. So any support that comes by way of my advocacy or anybody in this room, it supports me, it supports my family, and it supports the future of this community. So I want to stand in agreement with that. And the only other thing I need to make sure I advocate for is I'm a board of directors with the area aging out of Tallahassee. I stand as a board of director for Taylor County. Belter Carlton stands as our advisory counselor, and I know Mr. Bryant still stands as a local board member for our senior center. Our senior center is in great need of a new location. They have a lot of issues with the current location that they have, and they also have some financial need. I know they've been to you before, Jason. I know that, I don't know if there was anything reached out to Senator Osme, but I'm standing here. I know Lisa told me the other day when I met with Lisa in Tallahassee, she told me that she's already put in, I guess, a contact with her office and everything in regards to a platform. So I just want to make sure I stand in support of anything that you can do in regards to ensuring some type of support for our community to acquire and obtain a new location for our seniors. Our seniors are high priority, I'm sure, to everybody in this room. They have did their service, they continue, you know, to be in the need of our community, and we want to make sure that, I know I do, and I think I stand for everybody in this room, we want to make sure we put our seniors high on your priority in regards to whatever things you can do, support that you can lend us in our community to ensure that we get a new, you know, senior center and any type of funding that you can help secure. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Has there been a location that you all are looking at?
I don't, I don't think there's a current location, I just know there's a great need. I know that they've had a location that they've had for some years now, but they receive a lot of, how do you say it? They receive a lot of engagement from our seniors. I know Mr. Demp served as a board, member for our local board as well. And right now, I know where they do, they meals at, I think they're also trying to use that, for activities that they do. And when I spoke with Ms. Hewitt, the executive director last week, she told me that they've been having to do everything out of their only area, and it's limiting as to what they really can provide in regards to the needs and the services for our seniors in this community. So I just want to make sure that, you know, I know that, I think last year she said that they submitted an application or something for some type of funding, but another priority bumped theirs. So again, that they're just trying to look and see whatever they can do to obtain and secure funding for a new location.
Let me ask you, my memory's not good enough to remember exactly what happened. I think that the application came in late. This is the project, correct, where they have another building that they're wanting to renovate, remodel, and add more rooms? Or is that?
I think that was the initial concern, but I think as of right now, their concern is if they're gonna get funding for a new location, that would be the priority. But, you know, whatever funding, you know, they'll be able to, you know, take that funding and do whatever needs could be achieved with that funding.
Thank you. And I tell you, Ms. Shirley, Deidre, and Bonnie Sue, all three are very engaged too. I think I've met more with y'all than I have with anyone else, and it's pleasant. You always are well informed, and you always get right to what you absolutely need, and it makes it easy to work with you. And I appreciate you. Ms. Bonnie Sue.
I want to split them one because I know how it is. And oh, you got two? Okay, I'm on the legislative committee. First of all, I want to shake your hand. I have not met you formally. I'm glad you're here. Jason and I go back a long way, during the campaign days, so, I'm gonna try to talk loud. This is for the 2023 legislative session. I'm on the legislative committee, so this is from the Florida School Board Association. This platform has been accepted by all 67 counties of Florida. The first page you'll be looking at will be just policy, mostly mental health, safety, workforce, personnel recruitment, and retention. Those are some big issues that the whole state felt like needed to be addressed. The second page is about the funding. And so I'm not going to sit here and read all this, but I just wanted to present it to you because I know come March 7th, you're going to be bombarded and you're going to see this come from a lot of, this is our district, but I just want you to understand all your constituents are going to get the same thing for their district. And I just want to thank y'all for all that you do for Taylor County. The CTE programs that y'all are back and support, and I saw that in your campaign, and I was like, yes. But, I say there's two worlds. There's the education world, and then there's the business world. And the CTE program really bridges that gap. And, it's just a blessing to see that people are starting to recognize that. And we in Taylor County are very blessed. We want to thank y'all for helping us with everything that you do help us with. And you got to bring him next year to the dinner in the Pines. I know you couldn't come this year, but you definitely got to come to that. And I'm going to hush so you can get the Johnson Baker.
It's one of the best steak dinners you'll get. It's a great outdoor atmosphere, and the students there, whatever their area is, they bring something forward to show or do or auction, and it's really a great time to bring your family to. All right, next card I've got is for Mr. Cliff Wilson. He is our public defender, 3rd Circuit.
Good morning, Representative Sho, Senator Simon. I think last time we were eating a Christmas dinner up in Hamilton County, I saw y'all. I'm here today. I'm the local public defender over the Third Circuit, 7 counties. But I'm kind of here on behalf of the statewide issue for the Florida Public Defenders Association. We have some really severe issues with recruiting and retaining attorneys. This has been an ongoing issue. Last year, the legislature, and I thank y'all very much, did give us some money for attorneys. That helped some, but it's not quite, we're not quite there. We still have severe problems around the state. We have severe problems in my own circuit. The money last year was kind of got me in a position I could get fully staffed for the first time in years, and that lasted for 90 days. And just because we have that much turnover in our agencies. The Florida Prosecuting Attorneys Associations is making the same exact ask that we are. We're kind of doing that in conjunction with the prosecutors. So I'm kind of speaking on their behalf as well. My counterpart in this circuit, John Durrett's a good friend of mine. He's the elected state attorney. I bring that up because he's across the road right now at the courthouse filling in and covering a docket because he's that short-handed right now. He full-time covers a docket up in Madison County because he's that short-handed right now. Last year, myself and my chief assistant, we handled 2 counties because we were short-handed. This is a statewide issue. It is severe, especially in our bigger jurisdictions because of the cost of living is so much in places like Miami. So what we're all asking for the prosecutors and the defense is $15,000 per attorney for both field and unfilled positions. And the reason we ask them for those unfilled positions is we want to be able to fill those positions, and that's the only way we can do it. We're also asking for an 8.5% raise across the board for the rest of our staff. That is also a request that's being made by the state attorneys as well as the public defenders. That is kind of 2 reasons we're asking for that. One, inflation. We were given a pretty generous raise last year. We do appreciate that from the state, but that was eaten up pretty much by inflation already. I was speaking with former President of the Senate, Wilton Simpson, our Ag Commissioner, last fall about that, and he kind of recognized that. Yeah, we're making great strides to get y'all more money, but inflation's eating it up. The other reason we're asking for that ask, as y'all know, the state of Florida went to a $15 an hour minimum wage, and we've not ever really received any funding to address compression issues, where we raised them up to that level, but the people right above them really didn't get the same kind of raise. So that's another reason we're asking for that. And I thank y'all for y'all's attention, and I'm not going to belabor so y'all can get over to Johnson's, and they make very good hamburgers. Yeah. You don't want to bake them. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Good ones.
Really good. Really good ones. Looking at you, Senator Simon, because I feel like we're kind of...
We have kindred spirits.
We have exactly. I like the way you said that. That was very nice. But I appreciate y'all being here, and I appreciate y'all listening to us.
You got
y'all.
All right, Ms. Caitlin Culpepper, Tri-County Electric Cooperative. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good morning. Thank you all for having us this morning. I am not asking for a bunch of money. You're welcome. I just wanted to stop by this morning and update you all on our broadband project. As you know, we are installing fiber to the home internet service throughout the Tri-County service territory, so Madison, Jefferson, and of course Taylor County. Thrilled to announce we connected our very first customer just a couple weeks ago right here in Taylor County. We started our initial connection to the broadband network down at the beaches in Steinhatchee, and so we will build up from there following the network design that we have been working through with our engineering folks. So we've got them connected, and we're rolling through those connections in that area as well. It's very exciting. It's
goes without saying the need for quality broadband internet service in our homes and in our businesses. And then for us at Tri-County, the advancements in technology we'll be able to take advantage of by having this system connecting our customers, our substations. So we're really looking forward to all the opportunities that are going to come forward with that. This project as a whole is a $65 million investment for the cooperative. Our board is committed completely to funding that project and it not impacting our members negatively financially and by any means. What we are doing though is applying for any grant that we can. Any grant opportunity that comes available for broadband support that we qualify for, we are trying to take advantage of those opportunities, and that will help us, of course, move through the project faster. We are looking at a 2 to 4 year time frame. Those grant dollars can help us move through that a little quicker. And what we are asking is just y'all's support for broadband grant opportunities, and then our support. I know, Jason, you provided a letter of support for this last grant that we just did, and we really appreciate that, and you'll be hearing from me a lot more as those opportunities come up. So we just appreciate everything y'all do, and just ask that you continue to support these efforts, not only for us, but all of the members will be able to serve with this project.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Thank
Sure do
you.
appreciate it. Broadband is critical. It's really is what electricity was to our rural communities back in the day.
I assume you've gotten the grants from DEO.
We applied for them, yes. And
What's
we're
that
still-
process been like? Has it been cumbersome? Has it been something that's been pretty easy to work through?
It was heavy. It was heavy. We, our agreement or our partnership for this project is with Connect on Connect. They have grant writers on staff that we were able to lean on to work through the process, but it did require a lot of information from us, a lot of information from them. But we did get that turned in a few weeks ago. There's a challenge process that is open right now. I believe it closes in the next couple of days, where you can challenge another company's grant application, and there's some different layers to that. But as soon as that closes, they'll move on to the next part of it. So it's, like I said, it's been heavy. It was a very intricate, detailed sort of process. But we're looking forward to getting the results of that, and then we'll do it again the next time there's an opportunity to do so, because it certainly could be worth it.
As you go through those processes, especially with our state agencies, if you find ways to do things better, please reach out. Seriously, I mean, there's an extreme need in this district, and I think we all understand that. But if there is a way as you go through the process of figuring out ways to do things differently or do things better, please let me know.
Absolutely.
That's our job, to challenge our agencies to make things a little easier for our folks. At the same time, it's a lot of money, so
right.
to account for those dollars. But if we can find ways to kind of streamline that.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Next, I've got Dean Falconberry, and when I first saw it, I said, where is Dean? Your son was really active in helping me get elected. Great kid.
You're welcome. My name is Dean Falconberry. I manage a store here in Taylor County called the Fair Store. Most of you know me, most of you know the store. This month, we will have been in business 98 years. We have survived the Great Recession of the late 20s and 30s, hurricanes, just about every kind of event you could imagine. We've survived the advent of regional shopping malls in the 1970s, when this used to be the mall. Everybody hightailed it out of here to go to the malls. Ultimately, we've survived Walmart, we've survived the internet, we've survived Amazon. There's one freight train coming our way very, very quickly that is going to be the dagger in the heart of mom and pop, in my opinion. It's going to be catastrophic. That would be the increases in the minimum wage over the next several years that have already happened. Just a little over 2 years ago, the minimum wage was $8.65 an hour. it's gone up 27% in these little over 2 years that happened. I know people talk about inflation and, well, people need increases in their wages. I'm a big believer in the free market system. I don't even think we should have minimum wage. I think it should be based on a person's ability and what they can do or they can't do, and let the market determine what people can do. Now, I know we have a state law that was a constitutional law that was voted upon here just a couple of years ago. I'm sure you're all aware of it. For jobs that were, or for something that initially was intended to be for people entering the job force, trying to get their first job, like high school kids or even college kids, minimum wage is not designed to support a family of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, or whatever people have in their mind that it's supposed to support them. If a person wants to make more money, you study hard in school, you get a better education, or you learn a technical skill like is very, very strong here in Taylor County, or you work your way up through an organization. But what's happening right now, in my opinion, is going to be catastrophic. And I don't know what can happen. I'm not politically oriented at all, other than just ask if there's any kind of way legislatively that something could be done to maybe create an apprentice program or something that a person in high school or college, maybe up to a certain age, could be considered an apprentice or something like that. I'm just kind of grasping at straws, trying to come up with an idea or something, because the mom and pops of the world in this state are not going to survive unless they really do become a mom and pop, and the husband of the white team can only run the operation because they can afford to pay a kid in high school $15 an hour, ultimately is where we're going with it. So I don't know, I'm just kind of grasping at straws again, asking if there's any potential help, obviously with a statewide problem that's going to affect every single business in this state, and certainly your smaller businesses that depend on high school and college age kids to help make the world go round in their business. Not going to belabor the point too much more. I would like to read an excerpt from an article that was written by Anthony White, a local writer here in town. Did an article in the Guardian. I'm familiar with the Guardian, but it also appeared in the Taylor County newspapers. And like I say, I have so many points in there that it's just, how could you possibly survive? How can it's going to hurt the very people that it's trying to help. But I'm going to read one last article and then I'll step down. Falconberry's prediction has a better than good chance of coming true based on the findings of a 2020 study estimating the impact of a $15 minimum wage in Florida by economists David McPherson and William Ewan. Don't know these folks, don't know the study, but based on their opinions, conservatively estimate 158,000 jobs will be lost as a result of the state's new minimum wage law, with 32,727 of those jobs being in the retail industry. So, just trying to wave a flag that this is a freight train that we're not going to be able to dodge. Small town America, this is going to be a dagger in the heart of mom and pop. I just don't see how it could. We've survived about everything that can be thrown out of business over 98 years, and we've survived it, but I don't know that we can survive this one. So we need legislative help.
Mr. Falconberry, I agree with you. My wife and I own a small business. We were in the non-emergency medical transportation business for a number of years. And I understand that's why that CTE was such a big part of my campaign, because we can continue to artificially increase the floor, or we can promote jobs that have a more substantial living wage. And so that's where I talk about, and I think the legislation that you'll see over the course of the next several years, quite honestly, is talking about those jobs that pay an increased wage, because there's an extreme need. It's an issue I understand. We'll continue with that. Because I definitely understand.
And there are a lot of great jobs. Again, here in Taylor County, Big Bend Technical College does an incredible job of teaching people skills, of things that people can actually do something. A whether it be welding or instrumentation or whatever it may be. But there are a lot of jobs out here that are entry-level jobs that don't warrant paying somebody today at $11 an hour, kids in high school, 15, 16-year-old. Why would I had a previous employer ask if I had an interest in their hiring their 15-year-old daughter? Why would I do that when I can and did hire a 20-year-old young lady that graduated from high school already? It's hurting the very people that it was trying, anyway, I'm not gonna believe there's a point anymore, but whatever could be done legislatively, I don't know that there can be, but I'm just trying to wave a flag.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's, unfortunately, there is a way to fix it. It's just very unlikely. And once something is it amends our state constitution, the only way to fix that is to go back through that process and to put it back on a ballot, to get the petitions, to get 2/3 of Floridians to vote to do it. When you had more than 2/3 voted to do it, it's an uphill battle. I don't like doom and gloom on that at all. I despise the minimum wage constitutional amendment. It's not a state law though. It's a constitutional issue. It's not something that the senator and I can file a bill and pass it on to, unfortunately. So my message is, the next time we see something come up that is a constitutional amendment, everyone in the room should stand up and pay attention. The question I always ask myself is, why are we amending our Constitution? Our Constitution should be a document that is held in reverence and should not be tampered with and adjusted on a whim. No matter what, or no matter how good it is, it should be done legislatively. That can be done based on the will of the people, much easier than the Constitution can be amended, and for good reason. We don't want to be able to amend our Constitution easily. And we've passed laws in the last 2 sessions to make it much more difficult to do so. Because it was really a for sale sign on it for years, where out-of-state special interests could send millions and millions of dollars in paid workers to come in and collect petitions. And they really perverted the process. And so the legislature took action and took that out. So we will continue to safeguard that and do a good job going forward of protecting. But I wanted to just give you some context on that. All right, next on the list is, thank you, Diane Hurd from Career Source, North Florida. Diane, come on down.
Yeah, so it's funny I get to go after Mr. Dean, but I would be glad to talk to you at some point in the near future. I am Diane Head from Career Source, North Florida, Executive Director. We serve Hamilton, Jefferson, Lafayette, Madison, Swanee, and Taylor counties. So I will see y'all later in Monticello. I will see you later this week in Madison. And so I don't know that I have anything to say other that you haven't heard from my counterparts in other regions. We are steadily implementing the REACH Act, reimagining employment and career health, also affecting our CTE schools and school districts as well. So if you have questions along the lines of implementation, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I don't have a specific ask at this moment, other than to let you know that I'm here for questions, education, anything that you need along those lines. My cell phone number is 850-973-7219. Feel free to call anytime. Anybody here can call anytime. But we are looking at the realignment of workforce regions, so we don't know what those recommendations will be, but as they come out, again, I don't have a specific ask at this moment, but may soon. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Look out, Senator. Anything on that? No. Okay, great. All right. Chris Smith with Doctors Memorial Hospital. Chris, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Senator, Representative Show, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Senator, I know you're new to this, and I know you probably are going to get a great orientation when it comes to healthcare in our wonderful state. What I wanted to preface the following with is there is a very big difference you're about to find out between urban and rural entities. I live in the Northeast Florida, Jacksonville market, and I commute over here once a week to care for this facility, where urban is so much different You are not competing with your neighbor down the block. It's not a Mayo Baptist Advent. You're competing just to keep your doors open. And with the recent element with COVID, when we thought we were broken before, we're definitely seeing a lot of the hardship following. Where Medicare went up 4% in reimbursement, labor cost alone went up 45% this past year. A lot of that done with traveling nurses and so forth. Taking into consideration medication supplies, equipment, now fuel costs, we're talking 70% of our operational budget has been severely hampered when it comes to just an inflated cost. And when we have government reimbursement in Medicare and Medicaid, not even hitting cost when it comes to reimbursement, it puts us in true danger. What I would share with you is before COVID, the UNC School of Public Health, Shep School of Public Health, released a document stating that 452 hospitals were at risk of closure. Becker's released the same about a month and a half ago, saying the number's up around 600. 47 in the state of Texas alone, 8 in the state of Florida. So please, when you're looking at things from a legislative standpoint this session, please take a look at the hospitals, specifically the 27 rural hospitals. I know there's a lot of different programs that go out there, but one program gets introduced and another program looks at cuts. Another one gets introduced for costs raised, another one gets implemented for cuts. And every year you battle Medicaid cost reduction, $550 million last year. And then we got through the end of the session and it was, well, this isn't going to happen. And for the folks that are really trying to scrape at every single dollar, that's huge. Because then we have to go on the defensive trying to figure out how are we going to do this to care for our population. If you took Doctors Memorial out of the mix, Tallahassee, Gainesville, and Crystal River, you create a healthcare desert, and we don't want that. And I will tell you that our population in Taylor County and the surrounding counties that we serve would want a hospital to stay in presence for quite some time. And so I invite you down at any time you'd like to come down. We've talked about Johnson's Donuts. We serve a great meal on Wednesdays. Everybody can vouch for it. Have you down, but I'd love to sit, with you and Mary Mayhew and give you a state of the land when it comes to rural healthcare, the challenges that we're enduring and where we want to go, because we want to be here for the long term. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Senator Jim?
Yeah, I met with Mary prior to, on the campaign. Her and I sat down and we talked about this at nauseum. And look forward to continuing that conversation and find out ways, because you're absolutely right. There's a tremendous, and I represent those districts.
Right.
I don't have a Jacksonville in my district. Tallahassee is the bell cow in terms of population, but the other 12 counties that I represent all struggling with those same issues in healthcare.
And of course, St. Joe, what both you all are dealing with, Weems, Calvin, Liberty, I mean, we're all kind of in that same boat, and this would be huge. I will tell you, there is one piece of legislation for this session, and I think it's already written into law, it's just a matter of being appropriated, is a capital improvement component. I think it's $10 million a year. Now, if you look at our facility, we're blessed. The county built that building in 2003. It's 20 years old now, and it's showing its sign of age. But there are other hospitals around this region that are 50 years old or greater that are severely hampered. Calvin Liberty was damaged by Hurricane Michael and got put on the back burner because of COVID. And now they're trying to figure out how to get there. So that type of funding would be severely welcomed.
I've had that conversation with Calvin Liberty and the hospital. And I met with HCA, actually both of us met with HCA a couple weeks ago. I think the biggest issue that we're facing with Calvin Liberty in particular, but I think there are other hospitals doing the same thing, is without a surgical center, how do we maintain that hospital? How do we keep it open? How do we keep the doors open? How does it not fail 5 years from now? And so we've got to work through those issues to figure out when we're bringing in a hospital or an ED, making sure that it's sustainable for the long term. So I look forward to continuing that conversation and sitting down and figuring out a plan to attack those issues.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else here that would like to speak? Okay. Senator, would you like to offer some closing statements?
Well, thank you guys so much. It's always great getting over here because what we see is democracy at work. Every time I'm over here, the faces that show up, I get a chance to meet. We see an engaged community, and that's what we need to make changes. I'm one person representing thousands. But if you have an engaged electorate, that's expanded because I get the phone calls, I get the emails, I get a chance to know you personally. I sit back and I watch Jason. It's a testament to his hard work and your hard work that he knows the faces that are in this room. And I look forward to those relationships because it's important. We had our first meeting and we talked about GDP in the areas after COVID, and I'm looking at my 13 counties and 7 of them are still underwater. I pointed that out to to the rest of my senators that sat there and listened to that presentation. 7 out of the 13. There was only about 10 on the entire map, and I had 7 of them. And so I think my folks in the Senate understands that this region has been forgotten for far too long. I'm excited for the work that we get a chance to do to represent you all, and I hope to make you proud. But it's not for selfish ambition. It's because I understand and I see the faces and I've seen the tears and it's not lost on me. And so I'm extraordinarily honored to represent the good folks here in Taylor County and all around this district of North Florida, because there's an extreme need. And it's great to have a counterpart in Jason that works his butt off. And I look forward to learning from him as well during this process.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate that. Folks, we're all, yes, sir, Mr. Dennis.
You know, I came in late and.
Come on down.
Well, let me tell you this. Court, congratulations. The last time I saw you, I believe it was at the Peanut Festival over in Live. Okay? Jason, you see you all the time. And we appreciate both of you. And what you've heard today and what I've heard, look like we're in trouble. We depended on you to represent us and do us well. That you can't do, we can understand. But that you can do, we appreciate it. Okay? With that being said, I'll let you have it.
Good. Good. Thank you, Mr. Dennis. It's always good to see you. Folks, we have tough times that we're dealing with. I, for one, have a breath of fresh air to have a counterpart in the Senate that is going to do an amazing job for us. I look forward to seeing what we're able to get done together this year, next. And the best way that we can serve you are meetings like today where you come and tell us specifically what you need. Make a list, give it to us, you let us know, and then we begin to target those improvements and changes and needs. There are a million other things that need to be done as well. And it doesn't mean we're not working on those, but this gives us a priority list. So I want to thank you for your time today and coming out to see us. And Senator, I think we may have about 5 minutes to hit the bakery if we. Thank you.